a Bubu Kaftan with this fabric. So this is 4 yards of fabric. So what I did was just to measure the length that I want. Okay, so my full length is 60, so I just measured 60 twice. I'll show you what I mean. I measured like this lengthwise, then I folded it into 2, so that will give me 120 inches. Then I cut out the extra, which is this. So this is the extra from the 4 yards. So this bubu is pretty simple. I'm only going to show you how to cut it. I don't think we'll be doing this sewing together, but it's pretty easy. So after you have cut out what you want, just try to put them together into 2 like this, okay, and then into 4. So this is into 2. Make sure that it is well arranged, that no part is longer than the other, and then into 2 like this. So there are 2 ways to fold this. So you can decide to fold like this first, and then like this, or you could fold it lengthwise. What I mean by lengthwise is to fold the entire length into 2. That is, you pick it like this, you take it into 2 like this. So this one helps to separate both the front and the back. So once you have taken it like this, if you like, you can place your pin at interval to hold the fabric in place like this. If your fabric is moving about, just hold it in place with your pin, especially for beginners. If you are a pro, you may not need to do this. So this is totally optional. Please leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know where you watch this video from. If you watch later, if you are watching now, let me know where you are watching from, and just put an emoji, a thumbs up, or just make something. Just respond to the video, okay, so that I can greet you specially. So you just place your pin at intervals. So once you have folded into 2 like this lengthwise, so the next thing now is not to fold this again. You just fold again like this. Can you see it? So that way you'll be able to separate the front and the back. So you can decide where you want to use as your front, you can decide where you want to use as the back. So that is left for you. So make sure that you get your full length. Make sure that it is equal at the down part. So let's measure what we have. Let's see. You're supposed to have 60. So let's measure. I don't have a bigger table except the dining, so we're going to manage this machine table. So this is it. So that is okay. So any part can serve as the front and the back. So I think I'll use this side for the front, and then this side will be the back. Okay, so once you have marked like this, so the next thing I will just mark the neckline. This is pretty simple. So for the neck width, I'm using 3 inches. This customer on the bust is 38, and a quick way to check to do your neckline is to divide your bust by 12, and then you can decide to round it to a whole number, or you add 0.5 inches to that. So for me, I'm just going to mark 3 inches as my neck width. I'll mark 3 inches. For the back, I'm going to be using 1.5 inches. So I'll just curve this out like this. So that is the neckline for the back. So I'm going to cut out the front later. We'll cut this one out first, then before the back, I mean the front. Then for the sleeve opening, for this Bubu Kaftan Bubu, there is no joining at the shoulder, so you can see that this is the curved side, and then this part here is the center. So we have the center front, then we have the center back. Okay, so since there is no joining from the edge here, if you mark half of the shoulder, which is 7 inches, because the shoulder is 14, so this remaining one is going to serve as the sleeve. Unfold, the total length of this is 23 inches. Okay, so then for the armhole opening from this shoulder, I'm not going to be doing any cutting here. There's no cutting. So from this, I'll just determine where I want the armhole opening to get to. Okay, so let's say 9.5, and then I'll use 1/2 inch for seam allowance, because this Bubu does not have plenty of seam allowance. So I'll be marking at 10. So this is 10 inches. So you can use any seam allowance of choice. So at this 10 inches point, I'm going to go in by 2 inches. By 2 inches. Now this Bubu, let me just show you something. So this is where the waistline is. The waist is 17 inches. So the way this kaftan Bubu is cut is not the usual one that has a deep, armhole curve, the one that you can use your curve. So this one is not deep. So I'm just going to just take it like this. It's not deep. You see how I take it? As if I'm slanting like this. And then I'll come back to this point like this. So I'll have a little curve here like this, and that's just all. I'm not going to cut out anything from this side. Okay, I'll only just stitch with my 1/2 inch seam allowance. So that is one unique thing about this bubu. So I'm not going to be doing much cutting. So let's cut this out. So make sure that they are together before cutting. That is why I had to pin. So that is just a little shape here. So let's cut the neckline. So I'll be cutting both together first, the front and the back. Then later I'm going to separate and recut the front. Okay, so this is the back. I'll just put the back aside like this and then continue with the front. Sorry, our table is not wide. So you can also iron this so that you don't have any, before you start, just iron it. Okay, so remember that I marked 1.5 before. So I'll place it on the 1.5 mark and continue to 7 inches. So it's a V neckline. I'll just connect it to this point here. So I can now cut. So you see the kaftan bubu is very simple. Okay, so the next thing to do is just to cut a facing for this neckline. So this is the back and then the front. So you are going to cut a facing for it. So I'll be using this to cut the facing. So I'll fold this into 2. So I'll place the see this side is the cuff part. So I also put the cuff part of this one this way. So let me put it underneath it. If you don't want to use everything, you can just measure. Let's say I marked 3 inches before. So let's say 6 inches on fold. So this will be too much. Okay, this one is 7 inches. Okay, so we can use this 7 inches. Let me just spin it so that it doesn't move. So you can just, measure so that you know what you are cutting out. So here 3 inches, then this part 1, 2, 3. So up to this part. So that is like 14.5. So you can just measure this one. 14.5. And just cut it out. So when you want to cut, be mindful of this other fabric that is here. Okay, so this is what we are using as our facing. So I'll just place it under here like this. And then cut out the shape that I have there. So I'm going to cut out the shape of the neckline. Just use my pin to hold it in place to make sure it doesn't move. Then I cut. Sorry, let me get the hem glue. Hello. Okay, the person, someone just joined. You are welcome to Joidala Fashion Guys. So today I'm cutting a Bubu Kaftan. Okay, so far I've shown you how to, cut out the fabric. This is 4 yards of fabric, but I'm not using everything. This I cut out 22 inches out of the 4 yards. And then I showed you how to fold. So first of all, you fold lengthwise, like I said before, and then you fold again. So there are 2 ways of folding. I think I prefer this because it separates the front pattern from the back pattern. So it's easy to just cut the neckline without having to now start, opening it up and down. Okay, so what we have done so far, we have cut out the neckline. So we have this. This is for the front, is a V, and then this is for the back. And the next thing that I did was to cut out a facing, which is this. Okay. So the Bubu Kaftan is very, very easy. So if you like, before you start stitching the neckline, okay, just iron a soft gum stay around the neckline. I use my pins to hold this fabric in place before, so let me just remove the pin so that I can show you what I'm talking about. So this is the wrong side of the fabric. So if we open up our neckline, this is what we have. It's going to be something like this. I don't know if you have seen this style on Pinterest. So this is how it's going to be. You see, the V is not so deep. Okay. So 3 inches by 6 is, 3 inches neck width by 7 inches depth for the front, 3 inches neck width by 1.5 for the back is just perfect for this customer. This customer is bust 38, hip 38. And this kaftan, we are not removing anything from the the width of the fabric. We are not removing anything. The only thing we just cut out is just the neckline and then the curve around the armhole. Okay, so what you just need to do next is just to iron the soft gum stay around the neck. So if you have your soft gum stay, don't use the hard one. This is a soft gum stay. So you just cut it on the neckline. So you just cut it around the neckline. Let me use this facing to cut it. So let me use this to cut the soft gum stay. So this life is just to show you what I'm going to do. I may not sew it with you, but just see how I achieve what I did. Okay. Okay, so I've cut out the soft gum stay. So you take it to your ironing table on the wrong side. This is just to secure the neckline. So on the wrong side, you see this part that is shining. This is where the gum is. So you place it on it like this. Place it on it like this and use your hot iron to stick it in place. That's all. And then to sew this facing, you are going to be sewing on the right side. So this fabric this side is the wrong side. If your fabric is very close, just mark it so that you know the wrong side. So after you have used your iron to gum this, you will now turn it to the front. Turn it to the front like this, and then you place this facing over it. So right side to right side. So you place it on it like this. You see it? And then we just stitch with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Use 1/2 inch. You can start from any side. Just sew round. And then after sewing, you notch this corner where the shoulder is. This is where the shoulder is. So before you start this project, go make sure you iron. Then the crease line will show. You just know where the shoulder is. So you notch that part. And also this curved back, you also notch at interval. Okay. Once you've done that, you now just flip this inside and then iron. Flip it inside, then you go and iron it. So this facing will now be at the back by the time you place it inside. It will now show on the back like this. Then you just iron it. And that is all. No other stitching is required for the neckline. And then for this armhole, sorry, for this sleeve, this is the wrong side. So for this sleeve, we are not going to fold in too much allowance. Just this what do you call this? Is it for is it salved? I've forgotten the names. You are just going to fold it in like this, where where they write something on the fabric. Just small, 1/2 inch. So you don't even need to sew. You just use your hem glue or hem gum. Just place it on it like this. You cut it. So this hem glue, if you like, you can use your scissors to cut it into 2, because you are going to be folding just 1/2 inch. Or you just place it on it like this and then fold, so to look as if you've done it twice. Then you now fold it again like this. And then use your hot iron to just seal it down. No other sewing is required. So once you have done that, it's just for you to now put the armhole together like this. You just put it together and just stitch the side. So you put it together like this. You use 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch to sew from here like this, 1/2 inch. Once you get close to this point. So this part, if you like, you can just mark let's say 1 inch, so that you don't just sew on the very edge. 1 inch. You can mark 1 inch all the way down, so that when you take it like this, once you get here, once you get to this point, you just continue down. So the side will now have 1 inch as seam. So you continue from here straight down. To the end. You repeat the same thing to the other sleeve. You also pick your hem, you cut out your hem glue and then just place it on it like this. Then you fold like before. Just fold 1/2 inch and then you just iron it. After ironing, you just pick both sides together like we did before. You sew 1/2 inch, then from the side down 1 inch down. Once you've done that, you go ahead and fold the down of the kaftan. So for this one, I use 2 inches as my seam for the down part, because the customer's length is 58, but I cut 60. So I'll fold with 1/2 inch first, and then now fold 1.5. So to make it easy, you just take it to, when you are going to iron the other part, you first of all mark 2 inches and iron it. Mark 2 inches like this. Mark 2 inches, then you iron it, then you open it up again and now fold 1/2 inch, so that way your seam will be very neat. So at the end of the day, you have folded 1/2 and then folded 1.5. So that is how you're going to fold it down. And that will be all for the kaftan. So it's very, very easy. I'm going to be stopping this live here so that I can go ahead to do everything I've said now. My ironing table is on that side. I don't want to be moving this camera up and down. But if you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section below. And if there's also a video you want me to do, then you can also suggest it in the video below. When I'm done with this, I'm going to be posting it, on the page for you to see the final look. Thank you very, very much for joining me. And for those of you that are also going to watch later, thank you. You are also free to ask your question as well. Until next time when I come your way again, I remain Joidala. Bye. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you are yet to. I'll see you again. Bye.